So again, confidence doesn't come from not doing anything. This is the idea. I shared this the other day, that ideas about something are not transformative by themselves. Actions are. You're transformed not by the things you think, but by your character. And so when you're trying to add confidence, when you're trying to gain confidence, you don't gain confidence through ideas. You can't think yourself into confidence. You're not going to will yourself it's not going to work through affirmations. I am confident because I've done this thing. It doesn't work. You're going to get confident by putting yourself out there and doing things, by getting exposure to these things, getting exposure to these ideas, getting exposure to these situations. That's where you gain confidence. And again, as I said before, you can use this idea for pretty much anywhere in life. I know that I have pretty much any time in my life where I'm faced with a situation where I've reached the edge of my comfort zone, where I'm all of a sudden, I'm like getting that anxious feeling because I'm like, I don't know, because I don't normally do this, or I've never done this before, and I don't know how it's all going to end. I mean, that's really what's going on. Even like when you guys think about imposter syndrome is really just you coming to the edge of your comfort zone. Right. And I really like a quote that I heard the other day, which is, your life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Right. And I would think of it more as, you really discover who you are and what you're capable of at the edge of your comfort zone. And it's at those moments when you're at the edge where you're now in like uncharted territory most of the time, and you don't know how things are going to work out. And again, when you throw yourself into it, a lot of times that anxiety helps. It can, if you allow it to, helps you make you better, because it lights a fire under your butt to go harder, to push yourself to be better. But again, in my life, there's been several times where I have been faced with really difficult choices that made me feel very unsure of myself. And I always kind of came back to, and this is one of the beautiful things, and we'll talk about this in a second, about sort of general confidence. I put myself into these situations that put me on edge to the point where I wasn't sure about myself. And then I would kind of reflect back on like grappling, because grappling was like one of the first places I really developed a deep sense of confidence. I would reflect on grappling. And every time I was faced with a difficult, uncertain situation, no matter what, if I threw myself into it 100%, I always did all right. Even if the outcome everything wasn't ideal, I still did really well. And so I was like, you know what, just throw yourself into this. It's okay. It doesn't matter what happens. We'll be all right. And to sort of tie this back to general confidence, right? I don't know that there's a such thing as being generally confident everywhere, right? Because again, if you're truthful with yourself, as you move from place to place to place, you will have confidence in some places and not have confidence in others. So for instance, a lot of you guys that listen probably obviously know that I'm getting more involved in horses, and both riding and learning how to train them and stuff like that. It's kind of something new that I'm getting into. And I am very unconfident with horses. I mean, I can get by and I can ride them, but like, I'm unconfident. I'm very new to it. Right. And so again, it's not something I'm confident in, because I haven't had enough time to be exposed to it. I'm gaining confidence slowly but surely. But again, when I stepped into that horse, first got on the saddle on the horse and I'm riding him, I didn't feel confident. I felt very unconfident, because I know I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm confident in my ability to continue forward and gain that confidence, to gain that exposure, and to improve, right? So it's not that I have a confidence about the thing, but I have a confidence in my ability to do things and my ability to stick with them and eventually get better, because I know how the process works, because everything that I've done in life basically happens the same way. You get into it, you feel really awkward, you feel very weird, and then you keep doing it and you get better at it. I mean, this is whether you're talking about playing off of your back as a wrestler in jiu-jitsu very early on, to, throwing yourself into a business and quitting your 9-to-5 job, to talking to girls. It doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it just is. And so again, that's the idea for exposure and confidence, right? Again, don't look at it as like, a lot of times if people think that they lack confidence, they feel like it's a mindset issue and they need you to fix it by like mentally thinking about it and whatever. And I'm not saying maybe that's not the case sometimes, because people can definitely undercut themselves. But in most cases, you don't have a confidence issue. You have an exposure issue. And as you gain the exposure, so too will you gain the confidence.